Hello everyone, NatedogO33 here. First of all, I want to apologize for taking so long completing this series, Transformers vs. GoBots. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not obligated to finish the series. I hate to be a jerk and put it that way. It was foolish on my part to call the first one Part 1, because I really have no idea if I'm going to finish this series. I was really hoping to inspire other people to make their own versions of Part 2 and 3. But apparently everyone is leaving it all up to me. And I'm not the best editor in the world, and I really don't like the Transformers all that much. I know people like Transformers more than the GoBots. I don't know why, but I understand people like the Transformers more than the GoBots, and they get a kick out of seeing the two of them fight. I made 2 videos. Whether I'll make part 3 or not is the question. I might. Who knows? I have very few ideas left. And I am lazy. So, in the meantime, go about your life. Do whatever it is you love to do. Pray that I might make a new one. Pray someone else is faster and has actual animation skills and can make their own, which is what I wanted. The other thing is, I'm not a YouTube partner. I don't get paid to make these things. This is just a hobby of mine. I'm not trying to please anybody but myself. And sorry. I'm a one-man crew. That's the other thing. I'm making these things by myself. Well, the other thing is I've been doing research on this new phenomenon, the Hunger Games. This thing just blew up. It's like, what is this all about? So while doing research, I actually found the movie, the entire movie, for free, uncut, with no commercials, online. And I was able to watch it for free. Free is good. And after seeing it, all I have to say is, wow. Just wow. So this is what we're going to do now, right? So this is what Hollywood's going to do now, huh? Instead of remaking the same old tired cliche movies with the same old tired cliche characters saying the same old tired cliche lines, instead of doing that, we're going to get the same old tired cliche lines and have them said by the same old tired cliche characters. But this time, we're going to have children act them out. And we're going to call it genius. People, the Hunger Games is the Gladiator with the Running Man elements mixed in it. Did no one else recognize these movies? Look, I'm not saying to the fans that you should stop liking this movie. No, I'm not saying that at all. You're free to like whatever. You don't need me to say that. You're free to like whatever it is that you like and dislike what you dislike. Same with me. This is a free country. I don't have to like what everybody else likes. I know some of you are going to be like, Nate, you're not making any sense. If you thought The Hunger Games was bad, why did you make a music video? The same reason why I made Transformers music videos, even though I've complained about the cartoons. I like the concept, I just think it could be improved in some places. And I'm not going to mindlessly follow everyone else and say it's the greatest thing ever, because I just don't think that it is. I just can't get into this movie because the scenes are cliche, human behavior is backward ass, and I don't mean, I know it's supposed to take place in a far-off futuristic world, but I have a hard time believing people would even act like that, even under those situations. I'll get to explain that as quickly as I can. This is taking long as it is, but like I said, we got the cliche scenes. I'm going to go on the human behavior thing, the incomplete backstory, out-of-place subplots. I never got the feeling that Katniss is some sort of rebel, so the lead character in this movie. And the symbol of the Mockingjay. I'm going to briefly get on all those issues, all these issues that I had a problem with in this film. Then you guys can look and thumb it down and to your heart's content. I'm not the type of person that censors my videos. You guys want to thumb it down, thumb it down. You want to, leave a negative comment, go ahead and leave a negative comment. Well, let's get on with the cliche scenes. How about the good luck charm that fails? I've seen this so many times.
So when I finally saw the scene when Katniss gives the Mockingjay pin to her sister Primrose, I busted up laughing. Because I already knew what was going to happen, even though I never read any of these novels. Because they played the trailer over and over again. So she's all, here, wear this piece of junk jewelry that I got for free for no reason. Nothing bad will happen to you while you wear it. Next thing you know, Primrose Everdeen, you have been chosen to fight for the death for District 12.
And then in comes Katniss. I volunteer as tribute. Dun, 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 you know. I can understand. I understand what they're trying to go for here, you know. But it's been done before. Oh, what else? How about the dramatic entrance?
I would say that this is a spoiler alert for those who didn't see the movie, but it's not that much of a spoiler. This actress's face was everywhere in March 2012. So even if you didn't see the film or read the book, it is obvious who is going to come out alive in this deadly game. Yes, I know this hero's entrance is supposed to be symbolic. I have nothing against symbolism in stories, but this is the first movie that I have seen that has too many hints as to who was going to win that were like psychologically spoon-fed to me. It got to the point that I was not the least bit worried that Katniss might not see her family again. I wasn't. And I know fans are going to ask, what other hints are you talking about? Well, how about the number of unnamed tributes? One of the Austin Powers movies made a joke about it. Having too many unnamed opponents in a film gives the audience little to no doubt that your main character will come out alive.
See, they come rolling in, and, you know, these pompous windbag, these fucking assholes, they're talking about it like it's the goddamn Thanksgiving Day parade. They're like, oh, look, the fishing district. Oh, I get that. That's funny. And then all of a sudden, in comes Katniss and Peeta. What's that? Ah! They come running in, and their suits are on fire. Oh, yeah, the heroes.
As soon as I saw that scene, I was like, oh, gee, I wonder who's going to win the Hunger Games. It can't possibly be the chick whose face was on every magazine in every store that I shopped at, who is now riding a chariot on fire. No, couldn't be her. Immediately, I thought of Nigel Powers, because I had already done research and I already knew that there was going to be a number of unnamed contestants in this game.
Have you any idea how many anonymous henchmen I've killed over the years? And look at you, you haven't even got a name tag. You've got no chance. Why don't you just fall down? Go on, son.
As soon as the tributes saw her, they should have been all like, oh, God, here comes Katniss. Everybody just get off your Thanksgiving Day floats. It's over. Get off. Might as well lie down on the street and let her horses run over us. Here comes Katniss. We're dead. We're dead. Didn't you just see her on her chariot? Her suit's on fire and everything. We can't compete with that. We're all out here in silly-ass costumes, and she's on fire.
And there's another thing that happens in that scene. I'll get back to that in a minute. How about the mouthy villain? They talk so much that something, you know, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was coming up. Oh, something's going to stop this person from making their kill. And what happens? Boom, they get... This is the masterpiece? I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice about this. I know you're all into it, and that's good. That's good. At least it's not a remake. At least it's not an actual remake. But it's not fooling me. I've seen it before. It's hilarious. It's a good thing I didn't see this in the theater, because they would have kicked my ass out, because I would have been laughing at every cliche moment. What's the other one? Oh, this one's a little bit more subtle. It hasn't been done all that much, but I recognized it. How about the whole win them over thing? They'd send the tributes in to practice right in front of the people who are supposed to sponsor them if they're any good. Anyway, the arena is opened. You know, they're sitting there in bleachers, kind of like, you know, like almost like watching a football game. And Katniss comes in, and she's told by her trainer, make them remember you. She's trying to shoot a bow and arrow and hit her target, and the people who are watching are bored, and then the food comes in, and they're all eating the food. They're not even watching her anymore. So she gets mad and gets their attention by shooting the arrow up into the bleachers and hitting the apple that's in the pig's mouth.
Now, I understand what that scene is trying to do, because I've seen it before. This is what Maximus was told to do in Gladiator.
Win over the mob. Two characters in a life or death situation from two different movies. They're both told to win over the mob, to win over the people, to make them remember them. They get angry. They do things that you would think would piss people off. But instead of pissing them off, they love them for it. So, again, seen it. The other thing I want to get into that brings me into human behavior, the human behavior element that goes on in this movie, and how I just cannot get into it. Let me touch on that win over the mob scene again. Okay, they're in this open arena, and all these kids are practicing with their weapons. The other thing is about this game that you have to keep in mind is that the Hunger Games is over 70 years old. You're gonna tell me that for the 70 plus years that this game has been played, no one ever thought to put a fence in that arena? No one ever thought, hey, maybe we should put some glass up here. We're kind of open for attack. Really? No one thought that. No one ever, we're talking about kids who have never been, a lot of them weren't even trained until they were picked to fight in these games. You're going to tell me no one ever accidentally, slipped and lost the knife and it wound up in the bleachers? It didn't necessarily have to hit any of the people. The sponsors would have stood up and said, holy shit, maybe we should put glass up here. Or a screen or something. Also,
so not only am I supposed to believe that 70 plus years is going to go by and no one's going to think to put glass up there just in case, I'm also supposed to believe that 70 years of training these children like this is going to go by before someone actually gets angry enough to aim a weapon and threaten those people's lives up there.
No one ever got angry at the fact that their life has been cut short. They've been chosen to fight in the Hunger Games. They might die. No one ever thought, well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to take one of these bastards with me. No one thought that. And I know a lot of people are going to come back and they say, well, if a tribute tried to attack one of them deliberately, then they'd probably go after your parents. Okay, like I said before, I've done some research on this futuristic world. Apparently, this is a very openly manipulative government. I mean, they will do whatever it is they think they have to do to pacify the subjects. You could be the greatest tribute ever known, and you could be incredibly loyal to this backward-ass society. It doesn't matter. Because if President Snow, the guy who's in charge, if he feels like it would benefit him to have your family slaughtered on film as, a pre-show while you're training, he'll do it. This is an openly manipulative society. They're not like our politicians today who they say one thing and then do something else. So it doesn't matter. You could be the best tribute ever. It doesn't matter. So the way I see it, like I said, if I was one of the tributes, I would have taken a shot. There's no windows blocking. Oh, man. Okay. And I want to get back to the dramatic entrance that Peeta and Katniss had. At one point, Peeta holds Katniss's hand, and he says, yeah, hold my hand. They'll love it. And as they're rolling in, of course, the people from the Capitol are cheering in the crowd. Yeah, oh, you're going to die. I mean, hold my hand. They're going to love it. Why the fuck would you care about what those people love? I wouldn't care.
If they really cared about you, they wouldn't have you kids killing each other in the Hunger Games. Hold my hand, really? Okay, now I want to get back to the scene where Katniss shot the arrow into the pig's mouth. After doing that weirdo chick that blah 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 brought her to the Capitol for the Hunger Games scolded her for doing that. And Katniss says, sorry, I got angry. What are you apologizing for? You have every right to be angry. These bastards pretty much, they've been telling you since you've been born that you might not live past the age of 12. You're going to say sorry to this weirdo? Now, I want to go back to the beginning. When you see Katniss and her sister getting ready to get their names picked out of the bowl, they get dressed in these white garments. I guess that's required. You have to get dressed in white and march yourself down to wherever it is that they're going to pull your name out of. I don't get this. What's with the ritual bathing? What's with the ritual wearing of white?
Why are they trying to please these people? You're basically being marched off to your execution. Why would you care what your outfit looks like or your hair looks like? I mean, that's the first thing she says to her sister, her little sister, Primrose. Oh, you look so pretty. Who the fuck cares what you look like? You might die. They're going back and forth complimenting each other. Oh, you look so pretty. No, you look prettier. No, you look prettier. You might die today, ladies. They must have read the script. They must have read the end of the novel to know that they weren't going to die. Oh, you look so pretty. Oh, no, you look prettier. Oh, you're prettier. Really? You're really going to hear that kind of talk before an execution?
What, does the person with the nicest outfit and the nicest hair get to stay home during the reaping? No. And the person with the dirtiest hair and dirtiest outfits doesn't get picked first either. You know what? If it was me, I would have rolled around in the dirt after putting on that dumbass outfit. You know, what more can they possibly do to these tributes? Now, I want to go back to the good luck charm that I talked about at the beginning. The good luck charm was the symbol of the Mockingjay. And I know a lot of fans are going to right away want to correct me on that, on what I said earlier, and tell me that I just didn't get it. I got it. You don't have to correct me. I got it. I got it the first time I saw it. The idea is that when Katniss took her sister's place to fight in the Hunger Games, she became the Mockingjay. Ooh. For those of you who don't know, the Mockingjay is a bird that was created through the genetic manipulation of the scientists in this evil government. Now, the Mockingjay pin, or whatever, the symbol, the rebels who are going to fight against this evil government have chosen the Mockingjay as their symbol. Could I ask this question, please? Why would you wear a representation of an animal that does not exist in nature, that only exists because the scientists of this evil society that you're fighting against has created? Why would you wear that as your symbol of your revolution? That doesn't make any sense to me. This government is all about manipulation. To me, the Mockingjay represents that manipulation. Why would you wear that as your symbol? Why not wear something that exists naturally, that was there before this evil government? That's like if a Nazi scientist in World War II created the Mockingjay, and then the American soldiers decided to wear that as their symbol. Do you see how dumb that looks to me? That doesn't make any sense. Why wear something to represent your cause that only exists because of the evil government that you're fighting? You guys like it? Fine. I'm not saying stop liking it. You don't have to. Go Mockingjay! Woo-hoo! Just try to understand my point of view, okay? Now, the other problem I have with the story is that, I've done research, I've looked ahead, and there is a revolution on the horizon. And it just seems so out of place to me. I mean, I can see the writer is trying to show both sides of the coin here. She's trying to show the poverty and the suffering and the sadness of when the tributes get picked. But, all that seems to be pushed aside. The Hunger Games is the star. It's front and center. I mean, she goes into great detail about, the preparation, the pre-shows, parades, the costumes, and then when she writes about the battles, she goes into great detail of the cunningness, violence, blood, and gore, and the citizens really, really love the Hunger Games. They get really into it. And the fans love the Hunger Games. That's all they want to talk about is the fight. They compare it to the gladiators. They compare it to Mortal Kombat. That's all they talk about is the fighting. What about the suffering? There doesn't seem to be that much objection to this lifestyle. So to say, I mean, it just seems like the revolution idea is just thrown in there, like, oh, that's the kind of thing that happens in these stories, so let's just throw in the revolution. Why do that? Why take away the Hunger Games? Everybody seems to like it. The citizens of this mythical land love it. The fans love it. Why take it away? In my opinion, I think it would have made much more of a statement if
the Hunger Games just continued. And it doesn't even matter because, like I said, it just doesn't seem to be that much of an objection to the Hunger Games. There's so much more to object to. Children murdering each other. Either your kid is going to be dead or your kid is going to come back a mass murderer. There's just so much more to object to than just your regular run-of-the-mill arena games.
I mean, sure, once in a while a riot breaks out in a district when their tribute dies. But why are they rioting? Because a child died? Or because they're not going to get fed that year? I don't know. Maybe the novels go into more details. I only know the movie's version of this part of the story. I can see that there's supposed to be two sides of the story being told, but it just seems off balance to me. The thrill of the Hunger Games just seems to outweigh the misery of living in these districts. And none of the citizens seem to object enough to their horrible living conditions and having to watch their own children either murder someone else's child or get murdered by someone else's child live on TV.
Because of that, I just don't, you throw in the whole idea of a revolution coming, I just don't care about these people, all right? I'm sorry, I just don't. As far as I'm concerned, if you're just going to give up your child to politicians so that the citizens of the capital could have fun watching them kill each other, as far as I'm concerned, that is a dead society. That society is dead. You got one group of people getting off. I've seen kids killing each other, and then you got another group of spineless so-called parents that won't fight against these people for 70 plus years. They're dead to me. I don't care if there's a revolution in later novels. And also putting Katniss in the middle of it all even makes it seem more out of place, because to me, she just doesn't seem like that much of a rebel. I mean, from beginning to end, she does exactly what she's told. They tell her what to wear, she wears it. They tell her what to say when she's interviewed, she says it. They tell her to kill kids, what does she do? She kills kids. She's a rule follower, not a rule breaker, not to me. And when she does break the rules, it doesn't make sense. Like the part where she shot an arrow up into the crowd that was supposed to be watching her and judging her, whether she's good enough to support. Why aren't there any windows up there? You see what I mean? It just seems so weird to me. And one last thing. I already didn't like this movie when I first heard about it. I'm sorry. I hate to be prejudiced towards something before I get to know it, but the one thing I had a problem with, and it hasn't resolved while doing my research, I just have a hard time believing that you could actually get a game like this off the ground. I mean, you're asking me to believe that it's possible to make an entire country of moms and dads just suppress 4 million years of gut, animal, primal parental instinct to protect their child with just one nuclear bomb? I'm sorry, but I need more information than just that. I mean, basically, what I was able to gather is that there was an uprising against this new version of America, and in order to stop the revolution, they dropped a nuclear bomb on one of these districts, or they opened up a nuclear bomb on one of these districts, just blew it all up. District 13 is totally blown away. Then after that, all the president had to do is make a decree that one boy and girl from each district gets chosen to fight to the death. And somehow that stopped everybody from fighting. Okay, let's say the President of the United States saw this movie and said, "Ooh, that's a great idea." And we all know how much we love the President, don't we? If he said that, you are going to have one major problem on your hands. And it's going to take more than one nuclear bomb to stop this angry mob.
Folks, here's the thing about movies. They're all bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. And I don't even think the ones that I like are that great. They are just able to sell the bullshit to me. Not the Hunger Games. I'm sorry, but child actors and actresses covered in corn syrup pretending to die isn't genius to me. It's comedic gold. My apologies to Suzanne Collins and her fans. I didn't mean to insult anybody, but let's face it. If you're angry after listening to me talk for over 20 minutes, you got no one to blame but yourself. You could have gone and done anything else. You chose to sit here and listen to me rant. And if I got a few details wrong, who cares? It's just a movie, right? Nothing I can say can stop this thing from being the monster hit that it already is. So who cares? No harm done. Just don't expect me to say that this is a masterpiece just because that's what everyone else is saying. NatedogO33 signing out.